in the middle and never getting back.
Hopefully. And that's a lofty bar because I have to cross.
Yeah. We'll see.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awesemo.com live before lock show, where we are live, in case that wasn't clear by the name. I'm Chris Spags, joined, as always, by, not in a red hat today, but wearing a hat, Josh Engelman. Josh, how are you doing?
You know, it's been a weird day. No internet for most of it, so that part sucked. But I was able to figure out why I couldn't get my pool pump running, which I thought I was going to have to buy a new one. Miraculously, now running. So great day. Great day.
Did you actually fix it, or did you just happen to get it to work?
Let's say somewhere in between. It's not like I was out tinkering. I did take the screws off the back. I did remove the back plate. Sprayed compressed air in. Got a bunch of dirt out. Found some ants. Evacuated those guys. Put it back together. And, like, we were good after that. So, you know, more than just dumb luck.
I hope you didn't separate the ants from their children and tell the ant babies that you were giving them a bath, because that would not be well received.
What I did was soak everything around there with Roundup, the weed killer, because I didn't have any ant killer. And then when I blew them all out with the compressed air, they all landed in like a sea of death.
Oh, well, at least they died together. They died as a family.
Right. For a second, I felt like the Hitler of the ant community. And that thought actually went through my head. And I felt kind of bad, but I was like, fuck it, gotta get the pool to work.
They had to make a sacrifice for you, and that's what this is all about. At the end of the day, is murdering others for your enjoyment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, that's what the world is about today. It's a Fortnite. It's like Fortnite. That's all it is. We're all gonna be murdering each other, I think, at some point. Anyway, we're talking MLB though. We are not talking just ant genocide and my general mental exhaustion. It's 4th of July week, so I don't know how many people are going to be tuning in. I don't know. I assume we're doing a stream every day this week. We didn't talk about that before we got on the air. But
look, I will be around 100% on the 4th, so that's all we need to worry about.
Okay.
If people want to join me, that's fine, but otherwise, the wife's putting the party together at the house, so I'm not going anywhere other than right here. So I'd rather be on this stream than at that party.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. I assume I'll be available, but I might not be. I don't know. I'm figuring out plans now. I didn't even realize it was the 4th of July. July really came up on us fast.
I told Jake earlier to just, if you want to take off. I'll cover the full day. I don't care.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hey, there'll be shows every day this week, though.
Yes.
Let's talk. We got 9 games today, so let's start talking about them now. What are you thinking? I guess, what are you thinking in general? And we'll go from there.
Man, it's a weird one tonight. So I'm going to be like I'm going to be significantly over the field on Scherzer and Kluber, which I think is an interesting take. And then I'll have about a third of what we're projecting Luis Castillo for. So my day's getting kind of weird for it all. I'm paying up more for pitching and driving straight into the face of that Red Sox behemoth.
So I actually agree with you. I'm playing a fair amount of Castillo, and it's one of those things where I'm doing it, and as I started putting my lineups in, I'm like, why am I playing so much Castillo? And I know we have him graded well. If you're a premium member of Awesemo.com, you can see in the rankings, he's been one of the top players all day, both projected for a B in points and an A in value. Also projected for approximately 60% ownership right now on DraftKings.
Yeah.
So quite the combination of factors. Could be a spot. Freddie Peralta was in a similar spot last week, ended up paying dividends. I do think this one is a little less seems like a sure thing to me. Like Peralta, I thought the numbers looked great. Castillo, I think the numbers look pretty mediocre, and you're just assuming the White Sox are worse than he is.
Yeah, like, I like Castillo quite a bit. I still have him in 20% of my lines, which is pretty healthy ownership, but man, I can't get to 60. Like, I just don't see the necessity in it. The downside in that is crazy. I would never be anywhere near 60. If you were priced at like $0 or something, maybe, but I mean, he still has salary. Yeah,
I agree. I think you're right with the approach there of paying up, and I obviously Scherzer, I think, is a tougher sell just going against the Red Sox. I mean, I kind of avoided that game in general because I think Scherzer could have a good day. I also think, if he were a lefty, I might like him a little more. The Red Sox just grade out too well as, going against a righty. Obviously, they don't play many righties quite as good as Scherzer, but to me, that sort of seemed like a wash. With you on Kluber, though, quite a bit. I think that paying up for a guy like him with all this kind of uncertainty in the air, people are going to be playing a lot of Chen, people are going to be playing a lot of Castillo. Just getting some kind of solid performance out of your pitcher, and obviously Kluber can give you more than that, I think might be enough to help differentiate your lineup.
Yeah, Chen is another guy that I'll have like half the field on.
Yeah, I mean, that one I have no issue with. I actually don't mind the Rays stack, but definitely parts of that Rays stack as well. I think that he grades out poorly versus righties. Obviously, the Rays were aware of that when they made their lineup because they went heavy with righties and parts. I think that's Miami's obviously not a great pitching park, or not hitting park rather, to be in. But the Rays have shown many times, including this weekend versus Justin Verlander, that you can continue to hit in adverse conditions.
Sorry, I just took a really big slug of water.
I could hear it.
I didn't mean to. It was accidental, but by the time it got to my mouth, I had no choice. My choices were spit or swallow. I went swallow.
It's just who you are.
In my nature. Apparently this is a Friday stream already.
I think every day this week is going to be a Friday stream.
Ant genocide, spit or swallow jokes. It's 6:13. We've got a lot of time left.
Oh, also, just to promote a little, since we are now a certified home run picking stream besides Josh, everybody on Friday besides Josh picked a home run correctly, including Alex, our founder, Jake in the chat, and me on the stream. So if you want to get home run picks, you can turn to our stream every day. We'll be doing it in like 15 minutes or so, and everyone besides Josh will give you a great home run pick. Felt good.
Off.
No, it was actually pretty crazy on Friday. We everybody besides Josh did have a home run pick that went off. Felt good to have it. I've had 2 in a row now, so I'm feeling pretty confident going into today. But I wanted to tease it out because now we got some bona fides. We got a lot of green going on that Excel spreadsheet besides Josh's column.
No, besides Jake's column. Josh's column has a shit ton of green. It just didn't happen to be green on Friday. I don't want to hear this shit acting like I didn't have a torrid June.
Jake had 2 last week. He had, so I mean, Jake is making it up.
Fuck everybody.
Only one person gets the crown of dongs, though, and it's this guy today. That's why I'm not wearing a hat, because I'm wearing the invisible. It's an emotional crown of dongs that I'm currently wearing. But yeah, we got to start promoting that more.
Probably sitting on that hat.
Sup, Chris and Josh? This is Mercy360 on my normal account. Sign up for premium. Hey, Andrew Mack. Yeah, thank you for signing up, or Mercy, whatever you prefer to be called. I'm feeling a cheap pirate stack as contrarian. Thoughts? How do you feel about the Pirates tonight? I guess in general, or as a stack.
I mean, it'll be contrarian. We're projecting 1% aggregate ownership, which is tied for the worst with the Red Sox. I have 2 individual Pirates, 1% each. Not a spot that I want to be. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy there about it either. I don't mind Alex Wood. I definitely didn't play any Pirates. I think there are other contrarian stacks which would be a little more interesting to me. Like I mentioned, Tampa Bay. I'm a little more into that. I also think the Cardinals, who are getting my favorite handsome gentleman back in the lineup, Tyler O'Neill, sexy muscles, getting some burn. No track record versus lefties in the majors, but Robbie Ray. I just feel like Robbie Ray is one of those guys. He's either going to strike out a ton of guys or he's going to get rocked. And I think the Cardinals could be a spot with Robbie Ray, given the hard contact he gives up, the lack of soft contact that he gives up. Those are professional bats on the Cardinals side, who I wouldn't be surprised if they have an okay day.
I like Robbie Ray quite a bit. My was because I'm struggling to get the amount of Scherzer and Kluber that I want. So, we'll see.
I want to hear from this dude, Tomcat. It's not Tomcat, it'd be Tom Kennedy, who is our COO, and he's not a front-facing content person. So you'll have to. All his mystery lies within the Awesemo rankings, which are for premium members every single day. So There you go. That is what he uses. And ownership projections, which I believe he also helps create. So those are things maybe you should look at more, John Call.
Yep.
Let's see. Did you see the Cards lineup? I did see the Cards lineup. Obviously, that's how I knew Sexy Muscles was in. I think not having Jose Martinez, I think, makes it a little more interesting. Again, I also think the righties have maybe a not a better opportunity, but a slightly better opportunity. Yeah, I don't mind the Cardinals that much. Not going crazy on them, but I do think that there you go, John Cole. You're a premium member. Good. So just read Tom's ownership projections. That's all he used. That's like, it's a big part of why Tom wins, is he uses ownership projections extremely well, possibly as good as any other DFS pro out there. And you'll notice that especially on late slates. Tom JK321 often killing late slates because of how he manipulates ownership. So yeah, John Cole used that if you want more access to him. What do you think about, actually, this is a better question from Noah Rosen. Are you more interested in the Colorado or Giants side in that game? Obviously going to be very popular out in Coors.
Okay, two things. One, I don't know if you saw Jake make his home run pick. He took Juan Soto. I wasn't sure if he was going to be in the chat, so I wanted to make sure I got that out there before we forgot. I am more on the Giants side of the equation.
Okay, I agree. I mean, Freeland, obviously a substantially worse pitcher, I think, by any sort of metric compared to Bumgarner.
What the fuck sentence is that, John Cole?
How to do what Tom does with manipulating ownership is what he means. And we have primers on ownership. I don't know. Maybe we'll ask him to do more. Tom, if you're watching this, there's a premium member who wants you to write more about ownership projections. So yeah. Write more, Tom. Stop doing business work and just write articles for John Call.
How to do that is a article to write.
I got what you're going for, John Cole. Don't worry about it. You're a premium, so you can typo all you want, buddy.
That's fair. That's fair. Thanks for being here. I should have known better.
That Jose, I have zero fear of the Cards, Donovan says. Hey, look, we're talking contrarian stacks. I know, and I just think that's one that I'll find a little more appealing than the Pirates one. Not one I have a crazy amount of, but one I have a little bit of exposure to.
Yeah, I've got a pretty solid amount above the field on the Cardinals.
Okay, good. So we are on the same page there. I don't think they're like the best one of the day. I think they're a good one.
Yeah, if shit goes south for Robbie Ray, I'll be there to sop up some of that business.
Yeah, I had him in his last outing, and actually I watched that game because I just kind of wanted to see how he was doing coming off of injury. And I think it was against the Marlins, and he still kind of had trouble. So I just think the Cardinals are a better team, and I think they're in an okay spot. I think that's all I would say about it. People asking about Kingham. How do you feel about Nick Kingham tonight?
I have a lot of him actually. We're projecting 2% on DK. I've got 10 right now. So give me some Kingham, I guess. Yeah,
I'm not crazy about Kingham, but I also don't feel like the Dodgers stack is terribly appealing. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think, on a slate like this where I think a lot of those pitchers are in the similar price range, I think there's a logic to going to them. I don't know. Like, how do you feel about all those guys in that kind of mash of Kyle Gibson to, like, I guess to Castillo? I mean, or like above Castillo level.
I'm spreading everything to those guys. Like, I've got Wood at 15, Eovaldi at 14, Kingham 11, Gibson 10, Chen 9, Carlos Martinez 10, Loaiziga 8, Anibal Sanchez 7, Suter 7. Like, I'm spreading it all out along that mishmash of shit in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I think the approach is if you're playing. I assume you're like doing one of the 150 lineups for the quarter or something.
What?
I assume you're doing like a max 150 entry for one of the quarters or something like that.
The mini max on DK and then the quarter arcade on FanDuel.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're doing like a 150 lineup, yeah, I think that's sort of the mix you want. For me, Kingham just wasn't the guy I think I liked the most there. I was a little more into Suter. I think is going to be popular tonight, and I always like Suter a little too much, but I felt like he was okay and a little cheaper. Yeah, and I think I'm trying to think, not Junis though. How do you feel about Junis tonight?
Yeah, I don't really have him. We're projecting Suter for 15% ownership tonight. That's really high.
It's that kind of night. I know he comes up a lot on Manasy Muncher. very frequently. He's like, it's all Suter and all Castillo, I feel like is what they give you with their projections.
Sorry, we just got a support email, so I was just checking to see if I needed to look at it, like, immediately, but I don't.
Some dog is going nuts out there.
My house smells like chicken and tomatoes. It smells so good.
That's a random tangent, but I'm happy for your wife's cooking.
So am
I. St. Louis at Arizona, roof closed. I think that's been the case all day. So nothing new there. What stacks, I guess, do you feel like are the most underrepresented? We've talked about a couple of them, but which one do you feel like you're getting a real jump on the field with?
Twins, Rays, Nats, Cards. Those are the teams that I'm like significantly higher than the field on.
I think there are parts of the Yankee stack that are underowned, which I think is interesting to me.
I mean, they're our chalk stack of the day,
but not the Hicks part, and not the not so much Torres, not so much Andujar.
Sure, so I think that's for a good reason.
I mean,
well,
I don't know
Hicks
if it's
just isn't good.
Hicks just had a 3 home run day the other day. I mean, I know that's not but he's actually been hitting really well within the last couple of weeks.
He's 4,300. That's a tough price point to get to.
I don't know.
To be fair, we have him as a D value.
He's not a great value, but again, I mean, you're paying for an expensive stack. He is still in a prime part of that stack. I don't know. I just
if you want to go to the Yankees, it just makes it a little tough to go to Scherzer or Kluber as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. You're not going to those guys if you're playing that stack. But I don't think you need to play Scherzer and Kluber. I think that's just one approach.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I have a little bit of those guys. Nothing crazy though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the whole Judge, given Anibal Sanchez's whip and how righties in particular can pile it up on him, I just feel like the part of the lineup, the Judge to Andujar parts of the lineup, I think it feels a little underowned for the kind of safety that the Yankees provide on this slate, where I think a lot of people are going to go, oh, it's going to be the Giants versus Freeland, or it's going to be, the Rockies versus, the Rockies versus Bumgarner. Like, it's not a great spot for the Rockies. It's not a great spot. I mean, it is a good spot for the Giants, but Freeland also not giving up a ton of hard contact, and he is a Coors pitcher, so he does know how to mitigate the damage to a certain extent. And he gets strikeouts versus lefties, so I don't think that's like a perfect stack either. I don't know. I just think the Yankees, this is one of those times where I feel like the Yankees could be an interesting play, especially if you are willing to pay up and for the guys like Aaron Hicks or Andujar.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of the Yankees. 12% of my aggregate ownership. They're one of the 4 teams that I have a ton of, so I'll still be there for a bunch of it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Just that's one of my observations, and fitting the theme that we've kind of addressed a few times on the live stream within the last week. Yankees go a little underowned sometimes, and I think people forget that they are priced as they are and as good as they are for a reason. Polanco first day back, and while 2 people talk about Polanco, how do you feel about Jorge Polanco?
Who?
Jorge Polanco? I don't know. People talk about Jorge Polanco.
Gregory Polanco?
I don't know.
Polanco?
Is there a second Polanco?
I don't know.
I guess.
I need to know who we're talking about.
Jorge Polanco on the Twins.
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of them, I guess.
Okay. It's the kind of ringing endorsement you only get on this live stream. I don't think he looks like any great shakes.
He's hitting 5th. He's cheap. 3,000, dual eligibility, third base and shortstop. I mean, it's hard to find guys that fit in better than that. You know what's really funny? I was like basically in that cell looking at Twins ownerships. Didn't realize we were talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't mind Brett Suter. I think he kind of limits damage well, keeps the ball in the park. I think he's a an okay option tonight, and I'm not terribly enthused about a switch hitter who gets on base 282 with not a lot of pop. So that's how I feel about Jorge Polanco.
Yeah, I'm digging being heavy on the, like, these things happened independently of each other, but I'm relatively heavy on the Twins, and that makes me happy because I'm not very heavy on Suter, and he's apparently going to be public chalk, so that's awesome for me. That naturally worked out. I don't even have to try to fix it.
I don't think Suter's like an amazing play, but I'm pretty okay with him. Just trying him out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I have some of him too, but not anywhere near 15%.
Schebler or Hicks on DK. We haven't talked much about Cincinnati stack yet, but Schebler expected to be a very popular. I don't even know if it's going to be popular, but expected to be a big part of that. How do you feel about that choice between Schebler and Hicks?
I'd rather have Schebler.
How do you feel about the Red stack in general?
They're one of my teams. One of the 4 teams that I have a ton of exposure to on DK. They're my number 2 stack on FanDuel. Love the Reds today.
How about Schebler at 25% versus Hicks at 9%?
Let me plug it into the compare tool just to be thorough.
Because I think I would go, in that case, I would probably go Hicks and then try to, and still keep the Cincinnati stack, but go to a different part of it.
I mean, if I were one-offing these guys, I wouldn't want to one-off somebody that's going to be 25% owned, but I have just an absolute chasm between these two guys. I have Schebler projected for 1.9 fantasy points more than Hicks, which is really hard to do in a hitter's situation. So, yeah, it's Schebler for me all day. I have 4 times as much exposure to Schebler. If you need like someone that's more unique, I get it. Like if that's a play, if it's an ownership play in a tournament, that's fine. But if it's like cash or something, it's definitely Schebler.
Okay, I can live with that explanation.
Let's take a look. So I'm gonna put in max $4,300 salary, minimum 4,000 outfielders. So not just Schebler and Hicks, but a couple other guys. So like Ian Desmond, same salary, another guy that's going to be a little bit chalky. I'd be fine going that direction. But you can get like Tommy Pham or like Adam Eaton or Jesse Winker, and you're fine there. These are all guys that I have projected similarly to Hicks as well. But Desmond and Schebler are the 2 guys that grade out best dollar for dollar for me.
Shark points out, by the way, and something we should plug real fast, we did send out a first email newsletter, which went to everybody who is a current member of Osmo.com, including premium and free members. But if you're not a part of either of those groups, you can sign up for free. It gives you a little taste of our ownership projections for free, a taste of our rankings for free, along with some content from Josh, Jake, and myself every day. It's basically a good digest to kind of get your day going, along with weather concerns, something that everybody always asks about. So it's going to be going out, I think, like 1 p.m. Eastern every day. But if you go to Osmo.com, sign up for a free membership or a premium one if you want to really get after it, you'll be getting it in your inbox tomorrow morning. So go sign up now at Osmo.com and get the daily game plan in your inbox. So please go do that.
Yes. Michael Crane, why the so many question marks on even though Schebler is leadoff? What are you thinking leadoff does that makes it bad? Because that's an incredibly advantageous hitting position. So I want to correct your ill thinking if I can.
Well, that's obviously they're getting the pitcher at his most effective because he's coming out fresh. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't forget that Hicks hits after Judge and Stanton. If I did, I should not host a DFS show.
Greek Geek, you're a premium member, didn't get an email. I don't know why, but if you want to get the email and you didn't receive it, I don't check your spam would be the first thing I would suggest, because it did go out to everybody whose email we have. Secondarily, I don't know. Email me, chris@osmo.com if you didn't get it. If there's a lot of people who didn't get it, then it's a problem. Let's see. Hicks has more RBI opportunities, Michael Crane says.
Yeah, that is a true statement.
There you go. I don't. Yeah, not a thing to necessarily consider when you're stacking teams, but sure, sure, it's a thought. If you're using Didi, would you still use Schebler, or would you go to Hicks?
I mean, I would still use Schebler. If there are 3 other Yankees in that lineup, then it's different.
I think a lot of people just want to be on Team Hicks.
You're overvaluing the value of an RBI and not valuing the proper, not valuing the additional potential plate appearances. If you don't believe me, check out the game plan articles on awesemo.com.
Look, I think you guys are all right if you're going Aaron Hicks. I think that's
the worst
one thing.
Part of today is going to be when Hicks goes yard and everybody fucking talks shit.
Look, he's coming off of a 3-home run day in the biggest series that they have. So
I hope I get those points too when I roster him.
I hate when you do that. Or it's like you're fucking.
You and your recency bullshit. Throw that stuff in the trash. You know it.
It is, but he's a young player. You can make him turning. This could be a big turning point in his career.
Yep.
Michael Cranes is
like
now
29 now.
Michael Cranes is playing Hicks just because you said that. I agree, Michael Cranes. I think spite is the most powerful motivator when making lineups, and you should do that.
Yeah, I'm confident that spite is going to pay off for you. You have a much better chance of having a good Hicks day now because I went on a Hicks rant. That's how my life works.
That is always how it goes. We are good at that. We'll do either ors in a second. Let's do home run picks because I did say 15 minutes. Jake already went with Juan Soto. Jake on a hot streak, unlike any other besides mine, which is better because I have 2 in a row. I am going to go. Actually, you know what? Do you have a pick, Josh? Because I don't know. I want to go with you.
I will make my pick as soon as I click crunch here on my last set of FanDuel lines.
I do have like a heart pick that I want to make now based upon this conversation, but I don't know that I should.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Pick Hicks.
No, it's not.
And I'll happily take Schebler. And I'll put one in the cheap seats, and I hope he hits it, and it goes all the way up your bum.
If I weren't on a 3-game streak, I would do that a little more quickly. But I don't want to betray the people.
You're yellow.
Sure, that's racist, Josh.
Okay, now I can check it out. Oh no, hold on, maybe I can't. Okay, now we're still good. Okie dokie. Home run pick. Let's see where Hicks is at.
He might be getting high up there. His power numbers are growing by the day.
Yeah, he's 54th.
If you want to make Schebler your pick, I think you should just do it.
Where do I have Schebler? I'm sure it's way lower than that. Oh, shockingly, 5th. Give me Scott Schebler, baby.
Then I am going to go with Scooter Gennett on the same team.
I love it. I love it. Now I really do hope Hicks goes yard. Whatever spites, reverse spite. How much Hicks do I have? All right, I got 5%. That's good enough. I'll be like half the field.
I just wanted to get you onto that team so I could then pick a guy on the same team. I hope this works out for me because it always works out for you whenever you do it.
Oh, now I'm pumped. I especially hate Aaron Hicks because he's a Yankee, so fuck the Yankees. They played the Braves today. It's great. All of this is great.
I just felt like that was a fun game theory thing where I got you to pick Schebler, and I got to pick a better red.
You didn't get to pick a better red. I'm picking the best red in my home run model.
Oh, okay. But Scooter Gennett is a better red than Schebler. I stand by that. Whatever. I should have probably gone with a righty. I was between Gennett and Suarez because I think James Shields is a little worse versus righties. But I just saw Gennett spoke to me.
Schebler projected for more ownership than your boy Scooty.
Hey, me and the Gennett boys, we ride deep.
Hold on. Zach Jameson. No, I don't enter my lines manually. I would jump off the top of my house if I had to do that.
Zach Jameson, I enter my 20 to 25 lineups manually, but that's also stupid. So don't do that if you can. I just enjoy it. That's what's fun. That's what's fun to me about DFS. Sorry if you answer this, but you guys don't like Suter tonight. I don't think Josh does. I don't mind him. But how do you feel, Josh? You have a formal Suter opinion?
I just don't like him as much as the ownership entails. I have half of the field. I still have some of him. He doesn't grade out well in our premium ranking, so that makes me feel a little bit better. He's just not for me today.
Mid-tier pitcher you would consider on FanDuel for Greek Inc. and Brandon T.
Anything for you, Greek. Mid-tier. That's going to be lower than Ray, so... I mean, I'm assuming you're looking for a name that isn't Luis Castillo.
Brandon T is also like, I mean, I think you give anybody, but give Castillo. If Castillo's your top pick, then say Castillo.
I mean, Castillo, Eovaldi, I guess, would be fine.
Which would you go with between those two for Brandon T?
I have Castillo projected higher.
Okay. I mean,
Sorry.
I like Castillo enough, but I do think that the ownership being high enough, it might make sense to go to Eovaldi.
Well, but I guess on FanDuel, it's not the same sort of problem.
Yeah, never mind.
Castillo's not priced like an asshole on FanDuel.
He is definitely priced like an asshole today on DraftKings. That's true. Somebody's asking about Moustakas because okay. So first of all, Ronald Coley, BVP is not a stat we look at in general. It could be like a tiebreaker stat if you really want to use it, but in general, it's not valuable. What's more valuable is the overall stats versus a pitcher of the handedness, or a hitter versus the handed pitcher that he's going against. So Moustakas being good versus Kluber doesn't matter a ton in terms of the process. If you think Kluber is going to get rocked tonight, I think Moustakas would be a big part of that. But I don't have that stack. I don't know. Do you have any Royals contrarian stacks, Josh?
I hope not. I have no Royals on FanDuel and just like one line of Royals on DK. So yeah, I'm in a pretty solid avoid the Royals stance.
Adam Burst, don't like BVP normally, but he's 19 for 41. I would think that's still technically not a big enough sample size. I think
it's not even remotely close to big enough.
Yeah. Like, even if it is the same factors, or the same participants, I don't think it matters. I don't think it's statistically equivalent.
I'll say this much. I've never looked at it. Ever.
I don't either. I did in the beginning, and then once somebody was like, it doesn't matter, and then I noticed a couple times where it didn't really matter, I was like, enough proof for me. So, I don't know.
I mean, I never looked at it because I knew it didn't matter before I even played DFS. It's a chapter in Tango's Book of Baseball. So, it was just never a thing that I ever thought was predictable, even before I knew that was something I would want to look at.
A lot of people asking Eovaldi or Kingham. That's Eovaldi for me, and I don't like Kingham very much tonight.
Eovaldi or Kingham. Depends on the site. It's a coin flip for me, slightly into Eovaldi on DK, and it's almost assuredly Eovaldi. Well, ownership is weird. I'd probably rather have Kingham on both sites, honestly, because we're projecting Eovaldi for 9% on DK, Kingham for only 2%. I don't see the gap between them to be, 4.5 times the ownership. So if you needed to pick up a Kingham share or two, I don't hate that idea.
I don't know. I see a lot of hard contact for Kingham, not very good at keeping the ball in a safe spot. versus both lefties and righties. And he's worse versus lefties, and Dodgers obviously have some lefties who can mash. I think Eovaldi is not facing anywhere near the competition on his side and in a pitcher's park. So I would go Eovaldi.
Zach Jameson, you are 100% wrong in what you think makes something statistically significant. Just flat out 100% wrong.
Chris and Josh, with all the info that Osmo gives to the premium members, did y'all do a video on how it all fits together? I see all this info. My problem is I don't see how it all fits. Advise.
I don't know. There's no way to like make it. I mean, we could obviously do some tutorial stuff. But like, first of all, there's no right or wrong way to like make this stuff fit. Lots of high-end pros are playing styles that aren't necessarily like the Osmo themed style. Sean Zahn, for example, has been cleaning up lately and not exactly putting out the same sort of lineup construction that Alex would put out or that Tom or I would put out. The problem is that like every day is different and every slate is unique. So it's really hard to give like rules set in stone because every day and every slate size is going to change the equation a little bit more. I don't know. If it were as easy as just being like, this is how everything works, it'd be a much different industry.
Yeah, it's more like I would say like different ways to view your approach. Like when you know this is the information, then how do you change your approach and adapt it? But yeah, you know, I think there's more that we can do to talk about it, I guess, at length. We try to talk about it enough. And I think it is, like Josh mentioned, it's not something where there's a clear-cut answer to it. You're just using these things as kind of marker points, like especially ownership projections. I think they're more marker points for what are you attacking tonight? What are you looking at? Is there a vulnerability to go after, like that people aren't stacking a team that you think is going to have a big night? So I think that's more of just having the holistic worldview, and that's what the information is meant to provide. But yeah. Yeah,
like, it's more like general tenets, like make sure you're stacking, pay attention to ownership, you know, try to use most of your salary, but don't feel like you have to. Like, there are things that you want to try to do directionally. It's not so much like, oh, I need to make sure I pick the right third baseman today. Baseball's not that kind of sport. Basketball is going to be a bit cleaner like that. But baseball, I mean, you're basically just throwing everybody at a certain position into a pot and, like, kind of just picking them out random. As weird as that sounds. They just go really well together in a team stack because of all of the positive correlation marks that happen when something goes well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's about as good of an answer as we can give you right now, but we'll talk more about it, David Frank. You've been tuning in every day. I think the more you kind of stick in this universe and learn the way we're thinking about it, this is more of a thought process stream than it is a pick stream. And I think the more you kind of think about it like that, the quicker you'll find results.
Yeah, like in the NBA, we're going to have disagreements about players and like really talk about them. Like that is different than like just like the Hicks Schebler conversation is a much different conversation if this was just 2-point guards on like a 9-game NBA slate.
Can't wait for those discussions. I'm gonna get real angry.
Right. It's gonna be something. NBA is gonna be a much different experience in this chat.
Lasagna or Eovaldi? Who would you pick? I would go lasagna, actually.
I barely have any lasagna, so Eovaldi for me.
I'm surprised by that. I would have thought you'd want to go against Atlanta with him.
Fuck no, man. I don't ever want the Braves to lose to the Yankees.
Fair enough. I think lasagna's in an interesting spot. I have maybe one Brave stack going against him, but I think I'm more pro lasagna tonight than I am anti.
I'd like to see him a little cheaper. I think he's a little bit overpriced. But he's just not he's kind of in like this middle ground I don't really get to.
Matthew Prodwell asking about Cleveland bats. I guess, how do you feel about Cleveland in general? I think I've mentioned I like them a little bit going against Junis. Tough prices, but I do like them. And which bats would you go with if you were stacking them?
Yeah, I'm just like a notch above the field here. I have a decent amount of them. Brantley, Alonso, and Chisenhall are the three guys that are getting the bulk of my exposure.
Yeah, I would like the lefties a little more in that lineup, but I think the one that I do have, I went the one at least I remember for sure offhand. I went 1 through 6, skipping Encarnacion. So Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Alonso, Chisenhall.
Yeah, I think that I mean, like, it's so easy to get to Alonso, and Encarnacion is $1,000 more expensive. But if you've got the extra salary, don't be afraid to go to Encarnacion.
Yeah, I think I just went for the lefty-righty reasons, but I agree. I think I think either one of them is fine, and it probably would have been logical to play the stacks with both, but didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I have way more Alonso than I do Encarnacion, but if I were building like a couple lineups on my own and I saw that I had 1,000 left, I would make that bump because Encarnacion is a lot better than Alonso. They're both priced perfectly. It's just sort of you can fit in what you need there.
We'll go back to MLB in a second. When people ask the NBA, let's just talk about LeBron real fast. Like, we haven't talked about it on the stream. We'll probably talk maybe a little more once we finish the slate thing. But quick thoughts. How do you feel about NBA free agency in general and LeBron?
I'm happy for LeBron. I like the idea of him going to the Lakers and being happy. I don't know what the fuck the Lakers are doing now. They've made a couple, we'll call them interesting signings. So, I don't know. If they get Kawhi, none of it matters. They're good. I think so. I think I just saw odds tweeted out recently that had the Lakers as the title favorite. So
that's just taking dumb money, but
assumptions now, I think, are Kawhi gets there and so does Boogie.
I don't think they can't. They would have to sign. They'd have to trade for Boogie now, I think, because I think they wasted all their cap room, especially with the Rondo deal. I'm pretty sure they did.
Well, if they've already renounced Randall, if they get off of Deng, I think they can get to something reasonable for Boogie.
I think the Lakers. I mean, if the Lakers play at the pace they did last year, LeBron might have his best statistical year ever. But I think they might have to slow him down a lot out of necessity. They were like the top pace team for I think the second half of the year.
Yeah, that pace ain't happening with LBJ on the court.
But then you get Rondo, and Rondo also played at a high pace, so I think they might actually be thinking that. I think they might be trying to blow the doors off it. And if I actually think it's interesting. You know, I'm surprised a lot of people didn't pick this up because I heard Simmons say the same thing, and I think even Zach Lowe might have on his podcast. The reason that they signed these guys are they're all guys, at least before Rondo, all guys who LeBron played against in these playoffs who he respects for whatever reason. So he played against Lance. He's played against Lance a few times. He respected him. Played against McGee. McGee fucking is what changed that series completely. Not that it wouldn't have anyway, but he was getting open dunk, played a big defensive part. LeBron just trusts guys he's seen firsthand in some way. So I think those were all the signings. And KCP is just a clutch client who they had to bail out again.
Yeah, I don't mind the McGee signing because it's the minimum and whatever, but that Lance signing is comically bad.
Wait, the which signing?
Lance Stevenson.
Oh, I don't. What, for like $5 million? He's a great ball handler.
Who's giving him $5? Who's giving him anything other than the minimum? This guy bounced around 3 teams a year ago. He's a non-wanted entity in the NBA. All he does is just. I think Zach Lowe called it Dance Dance Revolution. The way that he just like dribbles outside of the top of the key. Wait, we're gonna have him hold the ball so that LeBron can't have it, or Kawhi can't have it, or any of these other young guys can't have it. That's a fucking atrocious signing. I don't mind McGee at the minimum, but if you're gonna sign Lance, you need to sign him at the minimum too, and not the whatever they sign there, the mini mid-level. I
just think LeBron wanted some dogs, and he got a couple guys. Like Stevenson is a guy who'll go to war in the playoffs. He'll go to war throughout the year. If LeBron's ever out, he's gonna go to war every. I don't know. Like I think
war for real.
I like Lance. I mean, whenever Oladipo was out last year, I was all in on playing Lance, and I would stand by that every day. If LeBron were out now, I'd be all in on playing Lance. I like Lance. I'm a big Lance guy. But
I like Lance. No, don't get me wrong. I like Lance. He shouldn't be making that much money, and he's not very good. I like him as an entertaining thing. I like him as LeBron's foil.
I like them being in the same boat now. I think it's interesting. I think he earned LeBron's respect through all that stuff somehow. I think it's great.
I don't
he's
expect
building
him to play.
a team. Very switchable team. Very like a team that can run. That's what it seems like it's shaking out to me. I'm actually going to try to get credentials to the Lakers this year. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I feel like we have a shot. And I live 4 blocks from Staples Center, so I would go to so many fucking games and just mooch.
I don't think this year really matters unless they do what I just said. So if you want to sign all these dumb assholes to 1-year deals, fine.
I think it's not a bad trade. I'm surprised, though, they were so anti bringing Randall back, because I love Randall. Randall's a bull, and I feel like that's the kind of guy LeBron needed all these years, but for some reason.
Who's he going to guard?
I mean, it depends on how they're playing. If they're playing at that pace, it doesn't matter.
Dude, they're not going to play at that pace. They're just not. Like, LeBron has never played at that pace in 10 years. He's not just going to start playing really quickly at 35 or whatever.
But if he's playing his kind of rest LeBron mode where he will sometimes sit a play out, it seems like he's kind of experimented with that, and enough people have talked about it at length. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Randall Dallas would have been interesting if they didn't sign stupid DeAndre. I don't know. But yeah, interesting moves. I was surprised that there weren't a little more moves between the teams, and I think that there were a couple signings we talked about. How one of the podcasts mentioned like Gordon to the Pacers would have been interesting. I would have liked to have seen a few more moves in that tier, just because I think there could have been some good rejiggering. But besides that, pretty status quo free agency, I feel like.
Mark C, you're absolutely right. Thank you for chiming in like that. Sorry, going back to that statistics.
Also, I'm excited for Mario Hezonja in New York. That's the other thing. That's a random one to go to in free agency talk after LeBron. But Hezonja, another European in New York who's very feisty. I think they're going to love him. I think Hezonja's going to eat it up too. Oh, he's going to be all over Instagram girls too.
Are the Thunder going to trade Steven Adams?
That move was weird. I think so. I think they just want switchable guys too, who are like Jeremy Grant, and they're just going to trot out another elite defender along with. I would assume they're just not going to play Melo, or they're going to change Melo's role.
Dude, they're set to pay like $100 million in luxury tax shit, and from what I'm reading, they're not going to waive and stretch Melo. So someone needs to leave that team to avoid them paying $2 for every dollar of luxury tax money. And if you're signing Nerlens Noel, I mean, he could just as easily be the backup, but that's a weird spot for Noel to want to go.
I mean, I'm sure there was some sort of machinations going on there, but 2 years and $5 million for Noel, I think is what the deal was, which is not anything.
Oh, I'm not worried about the financials of that, but why would Noel want to go there if he doesn't think he's going to play?
He's made some weird choices, so I don't really know. He's a bit of a head case, and he passed up like $50 million from Dallas, and there was no logical reason to do it.
Well, you're probably right. I don't hate the idea. I'm sure he thought he was actually going to play in Dallas and not be just some hot dog eating asshole on the sideline. But
when he did play, he played pretty well for Dallas towards the end of the year before he got suspended again and whatever. I don't know. He's just a head case. I think there's something interesting there, though. Moving Adams might make sense. Maybe you move Adams to get off Melo, but then I don't know who the fuck is going to trade for $40 million. So
you can't. If you're trading Adams, you're not packaging him with Melo. I don't think Adams is much of a positive asset at that contract to begin with.
I have no idea. Well, we'll see. Hey, it's an interesting move. They were trying Presti's. I'm sure was thinking 2 moves ahead. He's done a good job with at least keeping what's his face, keeping Paul George and lying to him and whatever they did. I don't even know, some sort of Stockholm syndrome, perhaps.
I like the Noel signing. I think he's really good as like a defensive center. It's just if he thinks that he's gonna get minutes, I'm just interested to see how they're gonna they're eating such a gigantic tax bill. I don't know what the answer to that is, unless they end up buying Melo out. But I mean, it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen.
Who knows? Maybe they'll just
the Pelicans.
Oh, well, how could they afford that? Huh. All right. Well,
$18 million.
Wow. That's a crazy move. Oh, that's all right. Let's circle back on NBA. That's
a great signing for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because AD can guard the 5s, Randall can guard the 4s. They can play inside out on the other end. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, at that pace, I think he makes a lot of sense.
No more
All
Boogie
right.
in New Orleans.
Probably not. Probably not happening now. Let's see. All right, baseball questions. If you have pick'ems and stuff, get them in. We'll try to hit them fast. Will Washington lefties get to Porcello? I think that's actually an interesting concept. Any stack that I have a little bit of tonight. Christopher Marshik. How do you feel about? Yeah, how do you feel about Washington?
I like the Nats tonight. Double the field on them on FanDuel.
I agree. Does the new Pittsburgh lineup change anything for you in terms of viewing them as a viable stack? They have Austin Meadows and lead off again.
I didn't even notice it. I don't really have much Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about him either. But you know, that is Meadows hitting leadoff. Sure, I think it's a little more interesting. He actually hits lefties pretty well, despite being a lefty. So I think maybe as a low-owned one-off, still not in on that stack though. Let me just make sure. Yeah. I mean, I think I still like Wood enough where I'm not crazy about the stack, but I could see why you'd want to go there. Go and maybe, there's a couple ways you can go with it. Still not crazy about it though. Still not crazy about it. Please fix the rankings. What's wrong with the rankings?
Look like rankings to me.
What issue are you having with the rankings? Email the support email so Josh can see it there and then get concerned.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to fix anything in 7 minutes.
Or are you?
I mean, I'm not going to fix anything with the rankings.
Or are you?
I don't even have the ability.
McCutchen or Story as a one-off on DK?
That's an interesting one. Those are on DK?
I guess it might be like a spot where he's going in different stack directions, I guess. Not a utility thing.
Yeah, that's a different one. Let's check it out. McCutchen and Trevor Story. I'm sure it's Story, but we'll see. Man, McCutchen is chalky as shit.
Mm-hmm.
So is Story. I'd rather have McCutchen. Less salary, better projection. They're both projected at 20 or higher, so I'm not too worried about it. I mean, you're going chalk one way or the other.
Who is your favorite shortstop on DK?
Hold on, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this rankings thing. Yeah, salaries look to be off. It's not changed. The salary, it's all visual, so the salary information that's shown there has no tie to the points ranking or the value ranking. So don't sweat it that that's off, but we'll be sure to take a look at it. What was your question?
Favorite shortstop on DK?
Ooh. See, I like these questions now that I could just hop over here and take the old peeksy. Shortstop on DK. The guy that I have the most of is Polanco from the Twins.
Oh, okay.
I like Trey Turner. I like Didi Gregorius. Let's see. Who do I have the most of? Most of my shortstop play tonight is going to be by guys that have relatively low salaries because of how much I'm on the high-end pitching.
I like Didi. I like Trey Turner a little bit. Sneaky play would be Robertson on Tampa Bay. I think is in an interesting spot versus Wei and Chen. So those are my picks. Robertson, I actually have a few lineups of. He was almost my home run pick because I was going to go real weird, but then once we got into arguing, I felt like I had to. You and Polanco. I don't like how you didn't know Jorge Polanco. I'm like, Jorge Polanco, you're like, that guy, what? And he's fucking your highest owned shortstop? That's just unfair.
Yeah, I mean, look, all that stuff happens in the background. It's not like I keyed on him.
Dick. McCutchen loves Coors. Did he hit 3 homers in a game there last year? Everybody loves Coors. There's no hitter in the league who doesn't like Coors.
I don't like it. It's piss beer.
I actually do enjoy Coors. I think it's my perfect day drinking beer because it's like water that gets you drunk. But no, any hitter who hits hard contact and has a good isolated power number is going to love Coors because they're going to be much more likely to hit a home run. So yeah, Andrew McCutchen, hard hit rate 45%, isolated power of 280 versus lefties. I would stand to reason that he would love Coors. Slater is 6 for 11 since being called up, batting 5th against the lefty. Isn't he probably the better Giants play with ownership? Not the better Giants play, but he is a part of the stack that I like, yeah. Do you have any Austin Slater, or how much Austin Slater do you have?
I think I have a lot.
Okay, yeah, I have a fair amount. That actually 3 to 5. I went with more mini stacks of San Francisco and went 3 to 5 instead of like a full one.
We're projecting 1% on DK. I have 9.
I'd imagine he'll get a little more than that, but yeah, still pretty low owned. Gorky's and Coors or Brantley, which would you go with?
Gorky's or Brantley? Michael Brantley. Gorky's. Hernandez. See, that one's tough to type. Gorky's is a weird name. Michael Brantley.
It would also be Brantley for me, especially going against Junis, much worse pitcher versus lefties. I don't mind Gorky's, but Brantley is just a better player.
Well, Gorky's has twice the ownership.
That too. Coors tastes like what I piss out after drinking Natural Light. You know, don't put Natty Light should not be above Coors in the power rankings.
That was my beer du jour in college.
I don't mind it, but it's just all the same shit. Miller Lite, Natty Light, Bud Light, Miller Lite, they're all part of the preference that you have flavor-wise.
When people talk about shit like this, I give this example, and it should clear everything up for you. Went to Canada for spring break when I turned 19 because I was able to drink in Niagara Falls. Went to the beer store and tried to buy a case of beer. We were like, oh, they have Beast. This will be great. For those that don't know, Beast is Milwaukee's best trash beer in the United States. It was like $32 US because it's an import. Every beer is fucking fancy somewhere else, man.
That's crazy. That should not be a thing.
I almost had a heart attack when I saw it. I was like, you crazy Canadians and your exchange rate? And they're like, no, that's just like, it's 32 Canadian dollars.
There are also bars in other regions that'll charge like a craft beer price for Natty Boh or whatever, that Baltimore beer that only exists in the DMV area.
Yeah.
And like that sucks. You should know it sucks.
It's all shit. All that stuff is shit. And then somewhere else someone thinks it's really, really good. So just, drink whatever you like. If you could save money on it, perfect.
Two Hearted Ale is a very classy beer choice, Brittany Seeger. I'm proud of you. Natty Ice or PBR?
PBR.
Probably PBR for me too, but oof.
$1.75 PBRs at the bar that I was going to a lot when I first moved here. 16 ounces too, so you would get pretty good and destroyed on like a 20.
See, I'd much rather drink like Bud Light than PBR, but I have no issue with PBR. It's just like PBR's got like a sharpness to it that I don't love. Whereas
I don't
like
drink any of these beers any longer.
They're my like, hey, chill and drinking a beer thing. But normally, if I'm drinking like less beers, I'll have the higher alcohol ABVs.
Yeah, unless I know that I'm going to be going in for the long haul, like meeting up with college roommates or something, I can't do it.
Every day could always be the long haul for me. It's including this weekend. PBR and Jameson is a good combo. Sure.
It just sounds like I'm gonna have a really bad tomorrow.
Brantley and Ramos or Kiermaier and Posey on DK? Brantley and Ramos for me.
Yeah, that's fine. Lineup's locked.
I don't know. You got it in there. Maybe it's still available. Victory Golden Monkeys fan. And now we're just naming good beers. Victory Golden Monkeys great. Some of the Two Hearted Ale also great.
You can't even do that anymore. There's like 1 million beers.
True. I got one the other day where I've never even heard of it. It's like the Cheer Dude double IPA, whatever. And it's got like a elephant with 2 trunks on the thing. And it's like, I don't know if you're actually a good brewery or if you just have the trappings of a good brewery.
Yeah,
no clue.
There's probably like 15 IPAs I can get just in my town that are like unique to every single person in this chat. It's just there's so many microbrews everywhere now. It's too hard to recommend stuff.
Yeah, we have like full breweries here in the Art District, which is like the neighborhood east of mine. There's like actual breweries. There's like a Boomtown Brewery and an Angel City Brewery and like so many breweries. Everybody's brewing. All right, back to basketball. So Rondo, I think you only get Rondo if you're playing at pace. I don't think he's a half-court guard anymore. So that's also why I think they would be playing at a fast pace. I just wanted to close that up.
You have to be assuming that Lonzo Ball is getting traded, right?
Yeah, I don't see how.
Do not sign Rondo otherwise.
I mean, he also wasn't in the Lee Jenkins thing, which is another not great tell. I'm surprised. Lonzo was good. I get like you don't want to deal with his dad, but I feel bad for Lonzo. Lonzo's gonna end up in like a less than good situation just because of his stupid dad.
Well, to be fair, if he gets traded to San Antonio, that's not really the worst thing in the world for him.
I don't think they want him either, though. So, they talked about the Wizards maybe wanting him on Simmons' podcast, and I was like, no, what was it? Like Lonzo for John Wall, basically, was the trappings of the trade. I would probably do that if I were the Wizards.
I wouldn't do that if I were any other team. I would rather have Lonzo over Wall by like miles.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like especially Lonzo with Beal and Porter, like that would make that offense hum and infinitely better.
Who wants John Wall's shit contract when you could have Lonzo on a rookie deal?
People who will just take any star and all they think that all you need is a star. Lonzo to Orlando would be dope. I'd be in on that.
Oh God, be LeVar banging Minnie Mouse and stuff.
Lakers will trade Lonzo in a first for Kemba, sign Boogie to a 1-year deal. I think that's a logical approach. Lonzo straight up for Kemba I feel like would be fair, but Lonzo in a first for Kemba I think would be.
Lonzo on his own is more than what they should get for Kemba.
I think Lonzo's going to make whatever team he goes to very happy. Like assuming he comes with like the right attitude and whatever. He's just a ball moving guard and he just gets stats. He doesn't, granted he can't shoot terribly well, but who cares? He does everything else.
Yeah, like if it was just like Lonzo and whatever salary you needed to make a Kemba trade work, then that's fine. But there should not be an extra pick going back in that deal.
Or honestly, like Lonzo and they should have to take Deng.
If it were Lonzo, so then you probably need the pick. That's how bad Deng's contract is.
If I'm the Lakers, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Lonzo, Deng, shitty contract in a first that's going to be like in the 20s anyway.
I wonder if you could do like Lonzo, Deng, and a first for maybe not even a first. Maybe I'd have to look at it. Lonzo and Deng for Kemba and Batum.
That's a lot of salary coming back, but boy, the Lakers would be real good.
Well, it's not that much. It's not that much salary. Kemba doesn't make all that much. He's still on that cheap ass deal. It's Batum that's got the tons of salary. But if you're gonna swap out Deng's shitty deal for Batum's, at least you're getting a guy that fits the modern NBA.
True. All right. I'm down with it. That's a great way for the Hornets to blow it up real fast and then just be able to run with like Kemba, Monk. MKG, whatever, but like Bridges, like that's a real base. They still have Bridges, right? I think they do.
Who?
The Hornets. The other Bridges, not the one who's on Phoenix now.
Did they take a Bridges? I don't remember.
They took the younger Bridges.
I just got myself a new Hornets soccer jersey.
Why does that exist?
A buddy of mine did a crossover thing for Mitchell and Ness and did a bunch of NBA themed soccer kits.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool then. I thought it was just like they're making a soccer jersey just because they're assholes and want to make more money.
No, it's sweet too.
Don Maker is doing
all really sweet. The Nuggets one's really cool.
You'll have to break it out on the stream.
I'm gonna
do a little fashion shit.
I'm gonna pull up the Instagram. I got it before it hit the stock, people.
Thon Maker was doing Kareem-style MMA flying kicks. I did see that video, Mark C. Yeah, Thon Maker was in a FIBA basketball fight.
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
It's on delay because of the live stream. Hold on.
Okay, well, I've had it up for a while, so now I'm going to scroll.
Oh, there we go. Now I see it. Okay. Oh, yeah, the little honeycomb thing is pretty cool. Atlanta's looks better, though. I like Atlanta's.
Yeah, so I brought up a bigger one of the Charlotte one, but it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I'm in on it. I think it fits the brand. Atlanta's looks clean though in a way that I appreciated.
I like Atlanta's and I like San Antonio's a lot.
the Charlotte one looks like somebody like it should have like a different touch to it. Like it feels like you should be like a honeycomb.
I was reading through the comments and stuff, and everybody was like, "Why would they do a San Antonio one? Like nobody's gonna buy that shit." You want to know why they did a San Antonio one? Because one of our best friends is a San Antonio fan.
Oh.
His cousin's a San Antonio fan. That's how the Spurs end up in that gear, because he probably wanted to make it for Ryan. That's honestly the answer. That's how that shit happens. That's probably why the Hornets are there too, because he knew he wanted to make it for me.
Yeah, which one is the Pride one? Orlando?
Check out the Nugget. The Nuggets one is just all rainbow.
Oh, it's the Nuggets. Okay, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, Nuggets. Nuggets, by the way, I think are also in an interesting spot. I'm glad they brought Will Barton back. I like the Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're good. They're not going anywhere, so.
I think they make the playoffs. The playoffs are gonna be fucking tough in the West next year.
Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, yeah, they're gonna be tough. I just meant like they might make they make the playoffs. They don't make the playoffs. It doesn't matter. I mean, they would need Jamal Murray to make like some kind of really ridiculous leap.
I mean, they were only a game out last year, half game out.
I don't mean to make the playoffs. I just mean to like be good.
I was like being a competitor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like they're
fair.
a really solid team, but like just I can't. It's hard. They're
Young
hard to get
teams-
excited for.
Young teams just need to grow. I don't know that Millsap. Like I think another year with Millsap too, and that offense will help. But I mean, like Murray's young, Harris is young, Barton's young. All those wings. I mean, they got Smith, who's going to be. Or no, they didn't get Smith. Who did they get? Who the fuck did they get? It's hard to keep track of all these moves. They got another wing that's also pretty competent. They wanted Smith. They didn't get him.
Michael Porter.
That's right, Porter. If Porter's active, granted he might not be, but even if he's not, I think those guys can still take a lead.
He needs to be their lottery ticket.
You can definitely help make it go faster, but I do think Barton and Harris and Murray can get competent enough, and some fringe moves when the chess pieces kind of settle. I think they could be right in the mix for maybe not anything great, but 6 seed, 7 seed.
Sure.
Let's see. Braun and Lance are the greatest duo since peanut butter and jelly. I agree. I'm glad to see them on the same side.
That's an absolutely atrocious signing.
Who makes the playoffs this year in the West? Good question from Brandon T. I've already allotted a spot for Phoenix. So.
Drugs.
They got Trevor Ariza too. They got another veteran guy in there who's going to teach them how to win.
That's great. That's great for them.
All right, so first seed's Golden State, second seed's Houston. I feel like those are. I mean, some order of that probably feels
Lakers.
like Lakers, Portland. Portland's still making it.
Let me just pull up Basketball Reference so I just make sure that we're not like obviously forgetting teams. Okay, so Houston was the one last year. I'd say they're in. Golden State's the 2. I would say they're in. I can't see any reason why Portland would miss the playoffs. They were the 3. They would have to have like Dame or CJ go down.
Yep.
I can't. Oklahoma City is for sure going to make the playoffs.
Yep. New Orleans coming up.
Honestly, I mean, like I think Utah's really good. I'd be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. It wouldn't shock me.
I don't think they're going to regress that much. They would need to get hurt, and even then,
dude, that's not a lot of regression. They made the playoffs by 2 games over the Nuggets.
But Mitchell was a rookie, and he is a star. I'm assuming you think he is a star. It
would be surprising, but Gobert's a little fragile. Look, here's the deal. Portland won 49 games. They were the 3 seed. Denver won 46. They were the 9 seed. There's a lot of wiggle room for some of these. I mean, San Antonio is not going to make the playoffs.
That that's tough to pick against Pop, especially with his back against the wall. But the league might have passed him by, to be honest, a little bit. I feel like it was just the last few years.
I mean,
not
he won 47 games without Kawhi last year. I think the dude's a fucking wizard.
That team, though, I mean, that was a team that was
Forbes and all those other assholes.
But they were existing off of fumes. Like he couldn't figure out how to use DeJounte Murray. He could barely keep Aldridge happy. Like I feel like he's a great coach, but I feel like he just can't do the personnel part of it. That's the NBA right now. Like they brought back Rudy Gay. Sure, Rudy Gay is going to be okay, but I don't know.
I would say that the Lakers will absolutely be in. We'll say that they take San Antonio's spot. I mean, somebody's got to fall out of that top 8 for the Lakers to get in. And the Lakers are 100% making the playoffs. So one of those top 8 have to go out. And I would say that Minnesota is better than San Antonio. I could see the Pelicans falling out. But I really like that Mirotic, AD, Randall core at the 4 and 5.
Yeah, I mean that's a rugged group too, which you need to have around AD. Like, but they're not going to take a lot of shit.
They need to find a point guard now.
They have Peyton, Alfred Payton. They signed him.
The Pelicans did.
Yep, over the weekend for like the minimum.
Really?
Yep.
I missed that one.
Yeah, that was why I guess Rondo became dispensable. But they thought they were going to make.
Yesterday was the first day that anybody could sign.
He signed. I think he signed yesterday. Then I thought it was Saturday, but I might be mixing up the dates.
I don't remember seeing it. Yeah, 1-year deal with the Pelicans. Huh. Okay, well there you go. I mean that'll help.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for him too. Not a lot of pressure to drive offense. He can just kind of do the triple double things.
He can be Rondo before Rondo got better.
Yeah, the turnover is going to be tough. Some of the defensive lapses are going to be tough, but the potential's there if they can coach him up.
I mean, San Antonio is the obvious team that falls out of there. I don't know who the second most obvious team is if you want to move Denver up, but like Phoenix is certainly not making the playoffs, no matter what you want to like joke about. Memphis,
it's getting tougher for them. It's getting tougher. I'll give you that.
Memphis would need 75 games from Gasol and Conley to like have a shot. And I don't think that that's feasible.
Yeah, Memphis I don't see either.
It would really shock me, but if you told me those guys were both healthy, I'd be like, okay, like they could get there. Dallas is not going to make the playoffs.
Clippers not making the playoffs too is a little sad, but I think they know that.
Kings are not making the playoffs unless Doncic just goes bonkers. But Kings aren't making those bottom 4 are staying there. It's going to be tough for the Clippers to make any moves. So, I mean, if the Lakers replace the Spurs, Denver's got to figure out how to kill somebody else.
Yeah, Alfred's haircut, I think, is going to help, actually, because like that, he literally couldn't shoot basketball correctly because of his stupid hair. So, yeah, I would say that'll probably help. The West is going to be tough. Somebody asked, I think it was Shark, asked like that we would be in favor of the best 16 teams. I think it's so unfair for the Western Conference if that's not the case, because you could legitimately make a claim for 10 to 11 playoff caliber teams, at least, especially if you're comparing it to the East. And you know the Phoenixes of the world are going to have a really tough time even winning 40 probably.
Yeah, I don't have it. The problem is the bottom of the East is so bad. Like Atlanta still sucks, Orlando sucks, Bulls suck, Nets suck, Knicks suck, Charlotte sucks, Pistons kind of suck. The playoffs for the East are fine. Like Washington's a nice 8 seed. Milwaukee has Greek Freak. Miami's like one of the most solid teams in the league. Indiana's getting better. Cleveland's going to be dog shit. Toronto, Boston, Philly, all good. It's just like the bottom of the East is just real rough.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it shakes out. Like I do feel bad for the Western Conference though, because it's unfair. It's unfair what you have to deal with in that conference when the East, I mean, even Toronto, they're the number 1 seed, and it's like they might just be like PTSD and never able to get off after they just got swept again. And I don't know. I would much rather be in the East than the West, and those guys are going to be fighting hard. Every game in the West is going to be like a battle.
It is. We about done because there's nobody here anymore.
Yeah, we got enough. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you'll know whenever we go live. And whatever. Good luck tonight. And any parting words, Josh?
Go Scott Schebler. All you Aaron Hicks fans can swing from it.
Go Scooter Jeanette and Aaron Hicks. Two of the highlights of my life, I'm hoping tonight.
Best of luck, everybody. Adios.